Hey guys. Okay, so today we're gonna go ahead and review for the test for handwriting question documents. So the first one says list six examples of question documents. So I'm probably gonna write more than six examples. So there's checks, there's certificates, wills, passports, licenses, money, letters, contracts, suicide notes, receipts, lottery tickets. I think you pretty much got the idea there. Number two, how likely is it to write the same if the person is under the influence of alcohol or drugs? So, yeah, so it's not very likely, of course. Okay. The next one says list three factors that can alter a person's writing characteristics. So it really depends on the writing instrument, like pen or marker. So writing instrument, also the mood, age, and if you're in a hurry or not. List four class characteristics to consider when dealing with fax machines, photocopiers, and computer printers. Um, Class characteristics would probably be the brand of the machine, the company that makes them, also the type of paper, and also chemical composition of the ink or toner. What is the name of the computerized handwriting database used and maintained by Secret Service? That is called FISH as an acronym, which is Forensics Information um, Information System for Handwriting. Number six. When dictating to a person in order to obtain samples of handwriting, one should not allow the suspect to view the questioned document before dictating it. Okay, so what is a procedure used by an investigator when a prepared standard from a suspect typewriter is required? Okay, so surprised I put that one in there, but I'm gonna go ahead. It's basically it has a lot to do with the impressions. So on the ribbon, if you have a typewriter, and usually like here I'm writing on top of this, it will leave impressions behind of what I wrote, especially because the back part, it's softer. Well, it doesn't matter because it will leave the impression of what I wrote in here on the back. Okay. So what is a procedure? You examine the type impressions left on the ribbon. So I really didn't cover too much on that, but this is the answer for that question. I don't know if I'm going to end up asking that in the test though. So what technique is used when inks on handwritten documents are compared for their chemical composition? So what techniques for, especially for chemical composition on the inks? Okay, so that is chromatography. Okay, and there's different types. There's thin line or ink chromatography. Okay, number 9. Um, This is writings are partially visible impressions appearing on a sheet of paper underneath the one on which the visible writing was done. So everything that I write here, it will leave an impression to the other paper. So if I use a pencil, I kind of like scribbled through this, it will show the impression of what I wrote in here. Okay, so those are called indented. Okay, number 10. Why is handwriting compared to a person's fingerprints? Because it's unique and it's individualized to each person. Definitely. Okay, the forensics tool used in handwriting analysis that is programmed to evaluate the speed, pressure, and rhythm of a person's signature. That's called biometric signature pad. Okay. Um, The production of an imitation of currency artwork, documents, name brand, knockoff items for the purpose of deception this is called counterfeiting. Number 13. What is a signature, handwriting, typewriting, or other written mark whose source or authenticity is in dispute or uncertain, is unknown, and that is called forgery or fraud. Number 14. What is the name of the famous aviator whose son was kidnapped? Okay, and list 4 anomalies found in the ransom note. Mm, so on this one, we're not going to talk about the 4 anomalies. I'm just going to keep it simple on this one. So I'm just going to put in the name of the famous aviator, and he's Charles Augustus Lindbergh. And his story is basically in the video on the expert on forensics uh, document analysis. It's on part 1. It's way in the beginning. It's right after Pawn Stars. So it will talk about his story on part 1. Okay. So number 15. What is a term when a material gain accompanies a forgery? So so on this one, it will be fraud. Okay, it will be fraudulence. It will be fraud. Okay, the distance traveled by the solute divided by the distance traveled by the solvent that's the RF value, and that's part of the chromatography and what you measure. Number 17. Matching handwriting from a letter of unknown person to handwriting from a specific person is called handwriting analysis. And remember, this is unique. This is really individualized. Their handwriting. Everybody writes different. Okay. Number 18. What is a division of the United States Treasury Department charged chiefly with the suppression of counterfeiting and the protection of the President? This is called Secret Service. Okay. What type of evidence characteristics is a handwriting pattern or trash marks from copies? This is individual characteristics. And this is probably, I think that one was probably on part two. Okay, number 20. What is the standard document of known origin and authorship used in handwriting analysis called? This is exemplar. Okay, um, and this one I know I talked about it in part one and part two, um, and we talked about the Ramsey case on this one. Number 21. What is the method of physically separating the components of inks called? So that is again chromatography. Number 22, you gotta be familiar with the 12 characteristics. This is in part one, very important. You gotta you gotta understand the line quality, spacing, size, consistency, continuous, connecting letters. The letters are complete, cursive, and or printed. Also the pen pressure, the slant, the line habits, fancy curls or loops, and the places of crosses on the T's and dots on the I's. So very important. Look at it in part one. Okay. 23. What is often the first indicator that a bill is counterfeited? So on that one, it is basically there's several actually indicators that I do want to cover on that one. Um, I don't think it's going to fit all here, but I really want to make sure that you guys understand the indicators. This is again in part three of your of the presentation. So one of them is that the portrait stands out and appears raised off raised off the paper. Um, there's also watermarks. Also, red and blue fibers. Keep in mind, red and blue fibers woven throughout the bill. I should have made more space for me on this one. But there's a lot of really indicators on this. Um, so there's also it um, has also a clear, distinct border edges. So border edges. Also, the treasury seal is shown with clear, sharp sawtooth. So treasury seal, that's important. Um, let me see. There's also a security thread. Also, and with, also in the also like there's minute printing in the security threads with minute minute printing. Let me see. And also it's around the portrait. And then when it's tilted, uh, there's a color. Okay, the number there's a copper to green color when you tilt it. Okay, so sorry I ran out of space, you guys. So I hope you guys can type it through and make it fit for you. Okay. Okay, so on number 24, what is the percentage of linen cotton used in paper? So this one, I'm going to scratch it out because we don't need it. That's not in the test. and I didn't review that. At least from what I remember, I did not review that. So, okay, so number 25, list three facts used by a biometric signature pad when recognizing how a person signs. So there's speed, there's pressure, and there's also the rhythm of the signature. Okay, so on this one, who is on the $1? The $1 will be Washington. The $5 would be Hamilton. The $10 would be the $10. Number the $5. I'm sorry, the $5 is Lincoln. Sorry, it's Lincoln. The $10 is Hamilton, and then the $20 will be Jackson. Okay. Okay, so what year did the U.S. Court of Appeals determine that handwriting analysis qualifies as a form of expert testimony? So that one was in 1999. Now, why are high-resolution folders used on checks? Well, mainly it's harder to replicate. 29, calculate the R value of the solid, which is an ink that migrated 2.4 centimeters, and the solvent migrated 7.9 centimeters. So basically, you just the 2.4 of the ink, the solute, it's divided by the, the total of the solvent, which is 7.9. You divide that and you should get 0.30. Okay. And pretty much that's it, you guys. Be sure that you're familiar with the Zodiac Killer and Copycat. Make sure you do the article and the question. That's very important for several questions, actually, that I asked about this. And this, of course, are always going to be on your own. So I might ask both or I might just ask one. Okay, so good luck on your exam, you guys. Hopefully, you have all the notes ready to go and you should be doing just fine. Okay, I'll talk to you later.